work in one camp, in the first camp. When they took me away, they assigned me to a pistol. Anybody familiar with the pistol? If you're familiar with the pistol, the magazine goes in. Usually I bring a dummy with me, but in schools I don't want it today. If I take it out, and somebody would get scared, so I leave it home. I don't bring it. My job was to make 2 grooves, so the magazine could go into it. That was my job. The first time, I remember I sat down, and the foreman told me, he was a Polish guy, Polish foreman. He told me, here how you do it, and he walked away, and I did the first thing, and I screwed it up. I completely demolished it. And he came over and said, oh my God, he like this in his head. I said, I can see him now in front of me. I said, I have to report you. As a 1940, in the middle of 1940, and he reported me, and SS came over with a whip, and he said, hast du gemacht? I said, yeah. And he gave me 1 whip on my back, with the little pebbles on the end. That really hurt. And he said, next time would be worse. So I understood, and the guy explained to me what he really meant. And I made those things pretty good. But once in a while, at least once or twice a day, I screwed one up. And the foreman says, I'm not going to report you, and I'll show you where to put the scrap away. And I put it underneath all this scrap from the metal, and nobody knew it, and they took it away. And he never reported me. So he was a nice guy. And of course, like anything else, is each people that have a rotten apple in the basket. So you can't blame all of it for one person. So you have to be like some of them blame the Jews for something. They say they run the world. Do the Jews run the world? No, I don't hear any saying. Okay, they are wealthy Jews and they're poor Jews. I'm the poor one. Okay, I'm satisfied. And then they have the blacks. The blacks have 1 or 2. So do they? The Muslim. But you can't blame one religion because one rotten apple is there. Okay, so just be careful. Anybody else? Yes.
So, like, being someone who's like lived through so much violence.
Say it again. I can't hear.
Being someone who's like lived through so much violence, would you say you like believe in war?
Today?
Yeah.
Well, the Second World War was supposed to be the last war we ever fought, but it didn't happen. So you see what's going on today. We have a you're talking now a little politics, and I'll give you mine. So you can agree with me, or you don't have to agree. He opened up a can of worms. His base is formed no matter what he said. I'm not going to mention any name. And if he lies, they love him more. Whatever he says, they love him. And to me, I'm not going to give you my personal feeling. Okay, use your own conclusion on that. Anybody else? Yes.
Did you ever have a bar mitzvah?
No.
Thinking about ever having one?
No. In Europe, there's no such a thing. You have a party. In Europe, you go into the bima, and to the, what do you call the bima?
Pulpit.
Huh? At the pulpit. And you say a prayer, and that's it, you finish bar mitzvah. Here they make parties. And of course, it's a business, like anything else. Okay? So you remember, if you know history, you know what happened in the ancient temple. Okay? All the business was done outside the temple, because that's how people got together. In order to sell you a horse, you had to be there in the temple or go outside the temple, and but today is no temple, the ancient temple. So it's different, but it's on the same principle. Anybody else? Yes.
Did you ever completely lose hope?
A what?
Did you ever completely lose hope of ever getting out of the camp?
Did you ever completely lose hope on getting out of the camp?
No. I had two brothers with me from the beginning, from 1940 to 1945. They were my best friend, and they helped me survive. I tell you one thing, because when we marched in to the first camp in Rodham, we were lined up, maybe about 7,000 people lined up. And as we were standing, on my right, one of the brothers says, "Oh, they're taking out young kids, and they're taking out old people who don't look so good." And he said to me, "Why don't you stay between us?" I had no idea what he meant, so I stood between those two guys. I got a picture of one of them, so if you want to see it, I have it. And he came close to me, and oh, thank you, that's much better. Yeah, and he said, the guy looked, the SS, the Obersturmführer, the head of the camp, came by and he looked. But as he must have been about 2 feet from me, and those two guys picked me up by my armpit, so I was as tall as there, and for one reason or another, one of the brothers slapped my face really hard, so my cheek were red. And the guy went by, he thought I was older and I was taller, so it didn't bother. That's the first time. Now, that wasn't the last time. A lot of times they helped me and I was with them all the time. Okay? And anybody else? Yes.
What was the first thing you did when you got released?
What was the first thing do?
What was the first thing you did when you got released?
The first thing I got released, I started to steal stuff. And it didn't work out. The first thing, I started to steal a loaf of bread. Now you can imagine, we went by, me and maybe about 20 others, we were walking. We went by a bakery, and one of the brothers said, "Hey, why don't you run in, you're a fast runner, and take some bread out." I ran into the place, and he was taking out from the oven baguettes, the long baguettes. And I tried to pick a couple up. What do you think he did? He hit me with the peel. So I was afraid, and I ran out. And then I tried to steal something else, it didn't work out. So I gave that job up. That stealing wasn't for me. And I didn't steal since. Okay, that answer you? Anybody else? Yes.
Did you know about the gas chambers while you were in the camp?
Not in Rodham. Not in Rodham. I did not know. When 1942, 43, history, a little bit, the German invaded Russia. They almost went to Stalingrad, and they almost went to Moscow, and the Russians repelled them. So when the Russians were marching west, was a rumor going on in Rodham that we going to be evacuated. When, we had no idea. And all of a sudden, the day came, and we heard the Russian artillery, and we evacuated, and that was a death march. Now, the death march from maybe 10,000, 12,000 people, maybe about 3,000 or 4,000 didn't make it. They died. Now, if you go on the internet, you'll see the death march from Rodham. You'll see all the really information, how many people died and how many survived. From then, we marched until it got dark, and we went into a silo, and we were packed in, and bless you. And we went in, and we sat down. They told us to be very quiet, and I smelled something, and I was curious. I was a wise guy then too, you know. I wasn't afraid for anything. And I went on the other side, and I sat down. There was cows over there, and you know, cow manure is nice and warm, so I sat on it. So you can imagine my rear end. And as I was sitting there, I didn't fall asleep, but I was dozing. As I was dozing, somebody opened up the big door, and who was there? And a young lady, she must have been about